Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. My name is Katie O, and this is Moon Mama Musings. Welcome back to my living room for another astrology Peephole for today, the 8th of September, 2021. It is a waxing crescent moon that will transit to the sign of Libra today at 10:21 Bangkok time. And this is a very, very interesting energy. It's like submitted to the board for review. It's like here it is. This is it. Yep. That. It's a real giving up the ghost and accepting what is for what is kind of energy today. Really matter of fact, kind of frank, like can't beat around the bush anymore. There's not even any bushes around. It is a bushless garden. There's no bushes to beat around. You've just got to get straightforward with yourself now. And if you don't, then something will, because it's time to let go, Jack. Rose is gonna drown too if you keep hanging on to that board. Just let go, Jack. It's kind of the vibe. Okay, we've got it's a very interesting day in terms of astrology too, because we have like the moon making a trine party. It's like all the trines in the world, literally 4 trines that the moon is making right now. I mean, we talked about it yesterday that the North Node is conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and now they're in the position that, well, I mean, basically with the moon's transit, they've become in a trine with the moon, and I mean, why not throw in Pluto and Saturn there too? Because like, why not, right? Why not? Trines are expansive. They're lucky. They're like, yep. Bam, here we go. We're going to grow this thing. We're going to make this happen. We're going to do this. This is it. This is what it is. So the whole energy of today is very much like, it's now or never. It's, yep, this is the deadline. This is the, yep. All right, let's get cracking. To start off, let's talk about kind of the overlying kind of vibe. Is like, the moon is conjunct Mars. Mars is currently in the sign of Virgo, as well, okay, it's not, anyway, I guess the moon has transited, so it's like, there's a few, like, Mars is on the verge of going into Libra itself. It happens next week, I believe. Yeah, on the 15th, Mars goes into Libra. So it's like an outside degree, kind of, I guess. I'll be honest, I didn't check the actual degree of their conjunction, but today was the day that I was called to talk to you about it, so maybe it might not be exact, but today is the day of the energy being pertinent. Let's just say that. Maybe some of you guys are a bit tongue-tied too lately. I mean, Mercury is retrograde shadow. If it's not already, it's very close. I think that's pretty arguable, because I think some people have said that retrograde shadow has already begun, but I'll be honest, I'm feeling like it's not like really strongly begun until next week. Yeah, I've got my notes saying that the 13th is when I start to feel the shadow, but some people have said that it's already in motion. So maybe the shadow is hitting a little harder for some of you than it is for others. But either way, like, I've been already feeling a little bit tongue-tied, and communication always becomes a little bit more difficult. Technology might give you some challenges during Mercury retrograde, all that wonderful stuff. So, yep, it is what it is. All right, so the moon in conjunction with Mars, invasion of the body snatchers. Mars is taking over our subconscious and emotional body. All right, so now that the moon is in Libra with this recent transit, it's come to a place of neutrality. All right, the balances, the scales. Libra is the judge, okay? So the judge must be neutral when it observes a case, right? So it's come to this place of neutrality so they can receive the game plan that Mars in Virgo has been calculating. The whole transit through Virgo for Mars is very much a passive active phase. It's a how do we put all the ducks in the row so that when Mars moves into Libra, when the trial begins, we can move forward. So again, submitted to the board for review. This is the kind of energy, right? Okay, now let's talk about this trine party. So first and foremost, the moon is making a trine with Saturn. So these are new structures have come into place, and maybe we've been experiencing some karmic balancing, some karmic evening of the scales. Maybe some of you have even managed to do some karma zeroing. I'm hearing soul retrieval. Some of you guys have managed to retrieve some fragments that you have left either in other lives or in prior moments of your life in this incarnation. Either way, this helps us remain neutral in this moon transit. It helps us remain neutral in the final stages of Mars figuring out, like, putting its plan out to the ethers to say, like, okay, this is what I want to do. What does everybody think about this, right? And this helps our subconscious mind stay a little bit more sturdy and structured and stable, right? Saturn is a planet, like it's our dad, right? It's the dad. Dad's stable. Dad knows what he's up to. Dad has got shit covered, right? So this is definitely helping us try and stay on stable ground, stay even keeled throughout these tumultuous kind of dealios. We have the moon making a trine with Pluto, and this is kind of like the odds are in your favor, I'm hearing. With this trine to Pluto, it is conducive lucky energy with regards to these transformations that are occurring to us. This death and rebirth is maybe serendipitous in some sense for you, or maybe it's just like right happening at the right time. But either way, the odds are in your favor and you're in the right place at the right time for this transformation. It is inevitable. The growth and expansion is inevitable. With death comes a rebirth. So you've been suffering maybe the ending of something lately. You've been mourning the ending of something lately. But the thing is we're realizing, wait a minute, I may be in grief right now, but the thing is that when one thing is finished, there's something else that takes its place. There's a new door that will open once we finally close this door for good. So we are finally coming to terms with the fact and accepting that this change that we've been going through, it's here, and it's not, we can't beat around the bush again. It's the same, it's what I was saying at the beginning. All right, now we have got two trines that I think are very, very importantly connected, because obviously Black Moon Lilith and North Node is kind of making their little conjunction party right now in the sign of Gemini. So Gemini is a dualistic sign, and I find this very interesting because Gemini and Libra, they're both air signs, Gemini being the mutable air sign and Libra being the cardinal air sign. This is like the Gemini is the one that's easily adaptable, and Libra is the one that starts off the whole process. So I feel like with the moon in Libra and the North Node and Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, these are, again, these really, really beautiful, conducive energies, like lucky growth, expansive energies that are having to do with the fluidity of our life, right? We've got a lot of air in these transits here, and it's like we're finding balance now, but we're finding balance in a more flowing way. It's not like we're not seeing it so rigidly anymore. We're not seeing it as this as we have to be this all of the time. It's like, no, in order to remain balanced, in order to continue to heal our wounds, in order to continue to move towards our goals, in order to continue to learn the lessons and move forward towards the following lessons, we need to remain in this fluid, beautiful state that is able to read a room and adapt as we go along. And it's also this vibe with Black Moon Lilith here, it's like what didn't kill us really made us stronger in this one. And not only did it made us stronger, but it made us it's like when we underwent this death, now we're feeling free because we don't have our mortal coil to hold us down in some way. It's like we're not weighted down by a body, or it's like we don't have the same heavy crap that was weighing us down before. It's like we've come more to terms with the fact that we are an energetic being, and this is really giving us this breath of fresh air of going like, oh my God, yeah, this stuff was excruciating. Yes, I felt shame about this. Yes, I was struggling for ages, but you know what? It's like it really has made me capable to deal with whatever can come to me now. We're not beating around the bush anymore. We are coming to terms with things. We have learned beautiful lessons. We have undergone transformation, and it's all finally balancing out in our favor. Yeah, the scales of justice are finally not overweighted on one side. It's such a liberating feeling. All right. Now, the last transit we have, the last aspect we have, rather, is Mercury in the sign of Libra, just pre-retrograde, is opposite Chiron over along there in the sign of Aries. Now, Chiron is retrograde in the sign of Aries, which means that we have a bit of a more... We're not being weighed down by our wounds as much, I'm feeling. We acknowledge that, yes, we had struggles in the past. Yes, we had things that hurt us. Yes, we had this difficult stuff that we wade through, but we're feeling a lot more light about it. Aries to me is often Aries to me, I know that in the tarot we talk about it being a little bit more of an emperor. Well, I mean, it's associated with the Emperor card. But I always think of Aries more in terms of the fact that it is the baby of the zodiac. It's the very first sign of the zodiac. So for me, it gives me way more Fool vibes, especially lately. And right now, Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries, it's maybe before it was the my way or the highway with regards to our wounds. Like, no, I don't want to look at them. No, I'm going to be strong and I'm going to be the leader and all of that. But that's not necessarily the case anymore, especially after, I mean, they keep on bringing us back to Mercury retrograde from earlier this year. It was a really intense Mercury retrograde, and it really did force us to look differently at a lot of things, especially it was retrograde in Gemini. Really, 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 really innovative, sort of like, let's get clever, let's get creative about this kind of stuff. Yeah, it was a really interesting time that people had no choice but to get creative to solve their own problems. And right now, with it opposite Chiron, it's like yeah, we're about to have a new retrograde, but we're feeling lighter about this retrograde. I don't know about you, but I'm not really afraid of this one like I was the last one. The last one I was like, I know, and I mean, I was trying to encourage you guys with the whole, like, I mean, and yes, it was kind of an exalted Mercury retrograde because it is in the sign, and it was in one of its home signs of Gemini. But I mean, it didn't make it not like it's not like it made it easy per se. It was still challenging in its own regard, but it's almost like we're not looking at it the same way as we were before. Yeah, we know that it hurt us. Yeah, we know it was difficult. Yeah, but we still somehow are just ready to do it. Yeah, no beating around the bush anymore. We're giving up the ghost. Fate is on our side. All of the cliches you can possibly think of. It's a cliche party, but I'm telling you, this is we're getting real. We're getting real. It's wonderful. What's my note here? I said, whatever old wound has been haunting you needs to be communicated now. All right. So this idea of Mercury retrograde coming in here and us feeling a little bit better about it. We're not really so worried about, being bogged down by Mercury retrograde vibes, maybe. And we feel like if something, because often what happens in Mercury retrograde is things from our past come back to check us out again. Come back to try out another go, or just come back to say, hey, are you sure you're done with this? It's like old wounds can come knocking on your door, right? So, I mean, Chiron opposite Mercury retrograde just before a retrograde shadow makes a lot of sense to me. So it's almost like there might be something from your past that you've been stressing over for the last little while. Maybe this thing from your past really ate you up in the last Mercury retrograde. But the thing is if it comes in now, if it comes back this time, it's like you're like, so be it. So be it. It is what it is. If it comes back, it comes back. We'll deal with it in stride when it comes. That's how I feel about this. Especially Mercury in Libra. Libra is a Venusian energy. It can be very compassionate. It can be very fair. So it's like we are now, like I said, we're not beating around the bush anymore. We've come to terms with things. We know that the growth and expansion is inevitable. And we're like, you know what? We will be able to deal with whatever comes to us in stride. Because it is what it is, and whatever comes will come. One day at a time, one foot in front of the other. We'll cross that bridge when we get to do it. Literally, guys, this is like every single cliche, you throw it at yourself right now, because this is it. It's a cliche smorgasbord. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious of cliches. I don't know why. Maybe somebody needs to watch Mary Poppins. Maybe I'll watch Mary Poppins. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to pull a card for you guys. I will be live today over on Instagram. Moon Mama Musings on Instagram, if you haven't found me over there already. I will do a live over there. So I'm just going to pull one little card here. And just for like an overlying, you know, just to kind of sum up what I was talking about here. Oh boy. Okay. We got two that have popped out here. Wow, and they are very, very similar. Okay, so we have Red Garden and Flower Spirit, 8 and 10. So 8, we have an abundance, we have abundant energy, we have flow of energy, and over here we have 10, which is a completion of the cycle. All right, so maybe for a long time we've been working on this garden. Maybe it was blood-soaked for a long time. Maybe it was a really scary place to be. Maybe our garden was, it was very much a work in progress for some time. But the thing is that with this completion of a cycle, number 10 here, flower, what does it say, Flower Spirit, is that this garden is absolutely thriving now. It's absolutely stunning. These flowers are just popping up, blooming left, right, and center, all right? It's gorgeous. We are nurturing this garden in a way that we've never nurtured it before, I hear. Because we're finally aligned. It's like before you had this garden, you were like, you didn't really know what you were going to do about it. So it's like, you were like, okay, well, maybe I just get shitloads of chemicals and spray the garden all over the place. And I'm just going to use all of this quick fix stuff, right? That should be easy. That'll work. But the garden maybe didn't like that very much with the red garden. I'm getting that red being like it's like a gory red garden when I see this. When I, like right now, I'm getting this vibe of it's gory. It wasn't a really nice garden to be in. You were kind of like, maybe for a while you were like, see the way her eyes are veiled here. She's looking away. She's got this little parrot on her shoulder. It's like, there's a little thing telling you, like, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right, but you're turning your head away from that parrot. You're going, no, this is the garden. It's supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to be in my garden. I'm just going to stay in my garden. Here I am in the garden. But it's almost like the flowers as they bloom just it's what's that scene in Alice in Wonderland when she's in the flower garden and they sing, what is it, Golden Afternoon? Yeah, it's like now you're in the golden afternoon, okay? The flowers are all singing to you. The flowers are trying to coax you in the right direction. It's the golden afternoon. Yeah, it's a different ball game now. It's not the red garden anymore. Like, I'm even hearing a reference again, Game of Thrones reference, the red wedding. It's like everybody fucking died, right? Literally everybody died. Everybody died before you managed, like, it's like you had to go through this, like, the death was so drastic. There was blood everywhere. And then you were like, okay, I don't really know what to do with this blood. Maybe I'll just kind of, like, push it over onto these flower beds and plant some plants and hopefully work for the best. Maybe the first plants that came out were, like, really fucked up because they were, like, you know, feasting on human blood. Whatever. But there has been a transformation, and they're no longer scary, gory plants. Like, I mean, look at, even the colors are very similar in these two cards, but this seems very severe. Like, I get this, like, yes, it's pink, but it's like this one is much softer, and we've got the gold in here, too, that kind of, like, brings it all in. This is, like, maybe your heart awakening, maybe your heart opening was really violent. Maybe they, not only did they have to crack you to let the light in, they had to, like, crack you and beat you to a pulp before they could let the light in. But it is coming in now, okay? Your flowers are blooming. All right, a little bit from the bag of tricks as well. I've got need. So there's something very important. You've got a need. You've got a desire. Some of you guys, this little coffee cup always talks to me about needing to, like, I mean, if you ask somebody, hey, can I meet you for coffee? Can we have a chat? This is like somebody needs to have a conversation with you. Yeah, and what do we got here? Impatience and temper tantrum. All right, somebody needs to have a conversation with you, or you need to have a conversation with somebody else, and it's like you just kept on throwing temper tantrum after temper tantrum after temper tantrum after temper tantrum, because you're like, I don't know when it's going to be the right time, or it's not, when is it coming, or you were just like not being patient with the universe, and it's like, this is what created that need. That impatience was like, you were like, I need this. It's like, when is it coming? I need to have this. Ugh. But they're saying that, like, as soon as you get over that tantrum, as soon as you just, like, chill out, you're not going to have a need for it anymore. You're going to realize that, okay, yeah, it'd be really nice if that thing were to come forward, but it's not like a life or death, like, I'm going to die if I don't have it anymore. That's one for good measure. Create and be artistic, all right? So get creative now. Like I said, maybe some of you guys are still kind of trying to figure out why your garden's not exactly growing the way that you wanted it to. Get creative now. Listen to the flower spirit. Allow things to thrive in a different way. We've got to be innovative, and it's there's no more time for excuses. There's no more time for there's lots of time for vulnerability, but there's no more time for the Mercury retrograded you. There's no more time for this false sense of what vulnerability is, about thinking that it makes you weak, about thinking that your feminine side is an enemy to you, or it's something that's going to drag you down and it's going to swallow you whole and you're not going to be able to breathe. No. It's time to get real. All right, my darlings. All right, I'll see you over on live. Today, the 8th of September 2021, over on Instagram. That's Moon Mama Musings. Come find me. My link tree is down in the description box. But until then, I'm so sorry for anything you're going through. If I've made you feel a certain way, thank you so much for being an amazing, amazing being and lending your energy to this gorgeous circuit. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the ascended masters, the angels, the dragons, and the unicorns, and the centaurs, and the butterflies, and the birds, and the bees, and the wind, and the sun, and the stars, and all of those wonderful things. For these beautiful, clear, concise, well, maybe not so clear and concise messages, but messages nonetheless, in the interest of our highest good. And I love you to the moon and the stars, to infinity, beyond, and back. And I accept this, and I hope you do too. But if not, it is what it is. Have yourself a wonderful time. I'll see you soon. Bye.